Now, experts agree that a lot can be accomplished by private business and public citizens, but they also concede that it will take governments and their power to enforce environmental laws to make meaningful progress in slowing down the climate change effect.
We need to get serious about this in the next 10 years. So politics needs to really, they need to figure it out because at some point the cost to society will become so large that we'll be spending an exorbitant amount of resources fixing things that we could have done much more efficiently a decade before. And there'll be huge environmental costs, and there'll be social costs to not responding to a changing climate.
And while the experts say it's not too late to take action, it is too late to reverse the damage that's already been done.
If we were to stop today putting all fossil fuel emissions and greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, there's a certain time frame or buildup or sort of residence that's already built into the system. So we'd already be feeling those changes for a number of decades into the future before things and the climate started to level off.
The next 20 years will be a fair amount of change, but it's probably the 60 years after that we're going to experience dramatic swings in our climate and changes on the globe that people better be prepared for.
Our climate is changing, and as dire as the situation sounds, and is, there is also optimism that history can repeat itself.
Our goal is a decent environment in its broadest and deepest sense.
April 22nd, 1970, the first Earth Day, founded by Wisconsin U.S. Senator Gaylord Nelson, it inspired 20 million Americans to take action to save their environment. And it worked.
We take for granted today the Clean Air Act and the Clean Water Act. We take for granted the Environmental Protection Agency, which is there to protect every citizen's right for clean air and clean water. None of these things were the law of the land in 1970. And because of the public's response to this call to action, the environmental decade was launched.
Man has the wherewithal and the knowledge to do it, but they have to have the willpower to go out there and get it done.
If you're not a scientist, there are still lots of ways to get involved in learning about and taking action on climate change. The Citizen Climate Lobby is a way to plug into the politics, and citizen science volunteers are a very important part of the research process. Scientists told me they often rely on volunteers to collect data in the field so they can grow the scope of their studies.